We have audio. Okay, good.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so here's the thing about the freaking audio. I've ordered the cable for this twice from Amazon, and it hasn't been delivered. I don't know what happened to the first one, and the second one got lost in transit somehow. So I checked on that yesterday, and it said lost in transit. So they've refunded me the money for that, and I'm just going to go buy one from Best Buy while I'm out working today. But the funny thing is, I've ordered several other things from Amazon in the interim and had no problem.
Yeah.
Including a couple, I had to order a couple of short cables, USB to USB-C, to hook my drone controller up to the iPad. Mm-hmm. I had to replace one of those, just because they get old over time. And, those came the same day, no problem.
I've also ordered things from Amazon for gigs, actually had them delivered here, and they said, hey, be there on Thursday. And then they were there.
In fact, the truth is, I never have a problem with Amazon getting things delivered, unless the U.S. Post Office gets involved. That's how I got our Zoom Handy 6 recorder for free. I ordered like $600 worth of gear, which included that $400 field recorder, and it never showed up. So I called Amazon. I was like, yo, where's my shit? And they said, oh, we're so sorry. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to cancel that order, refund you the money, then replace the order and expedite delivery. I got it the next day. And then like a week or 3 later, the original order showed up. So I called Amazon. I was like, hey, I paid you for one of these and now I have 2. And they said, oh yeah, no problem. Just send back the extras. And I did. And they refunded me again. And I called them and I said, hey, here's what happened. And they said, well, we can, and they started to go down this, it sounded very complicated, and I said, you know what, I'm done trying to give you money, I'm just going to keep this, have a nice day. Yeah, Adam Baum says, I hear Amazon will pay for their employees to get abortions, and
yeah, it's cheaper than maternity leave.
Correct. And
they're not doing this because of their virtue.
I tell you what, so we are talking about Supreme Court wins today, but
I swear, this show talks about things other than that. It's just the Supreme Court
delivering.
Just keeps winning. I am not yet tired of winning.
Much like America's mothers, the Supreme Court will now continue to deliver. Thank you, Donald Trump. But as far as Amazon supporting their employees getting abortions, paying for abortions, I am very pro-life, very, very pro-life. I wish I could boycott everybody that I disagree with, but at the same time, large corporations paying for their Democrat employees to get abortions. Sun Tzu said it best: never interrupt the enemy when he's making a mistake. And I've made that argument many times before, that as much as I find the concept of abortion, let's be real, the murder of children to be abhorrent. If we were fighting a war with China and they just made it policy that human sacrifice had to precede every battle,
would you stop them?
I wouldn't complain.
As Clarence Thomas went ultra mega. That's the thing. Okay, seriously, I'll go ahead and just ask you this now. Do you think that Thomas and Alito know that they're at the end one way or another? That if they're really very lucky, Donald Trump or DeSantis wins 2024 and they can just retire and have a 5-4 majority on the court for the next decade at least? Or do you think,
I think it's even better than that.
Or do you think that they're just tired of it. That it's just like, you know what? We try and do the right thing and have these narrow decisions and try and be nuanced and respect the court. And what happens? Shit gets leaked. Hit pieces get written about us. Brett Kavanaugh's a serial gang rapist. Go. And now
you've hit it.
Now we've got people showing up at our houses threatening to kill us. Fuck it. I'm tired of half measures. So that's what you think that it is. They've hit the fucking point.
Steve, hell yes. Okay, so Thomas was fairly silent for 30 years, then opens his mouth like a constitutional Thanos. Not Thanos. So Saturday we had a birthday party. Okay, we're going to be way all over the place this morning because that right there. This weekend we watched with
Doctor Strange.
We watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And in one of the multiverses, they run into Black Bolt. Black Bolt is a Marvel character whose superpower is that when he speaks, his voice is just like a nuclear bomb blast. It's far worse, in fact, than a nuclear bomb blast going off. Black Bolt destroys everything in front of him when he opens his mouth. And you and I were actually talking about that character the other day. Black Bolt is a boring character. Black Bolt sucks. Because the whole thing about Black Bolt is that he never speaks because his power is so destructive. Like, they make it a point in the comic books over and over and over again when Black Bolt is a character in it, that his team often loses because his self-control and his fear of using his overwhelming huge power is so substantial that he will risk losing rather than basically genociding everything to the west by opening his mouth.
Oh, did I whisper and destroy Philadelphia?
So yeah, we need to whip together some
Clarence
Thomas memes where he's just got the little lightning bolt symbol or the little fork on his forehead, like Black. It's not a lightning bolt; it's a tuning fork. But
yeah, but the Thanos thing is that's the one that's really going to punch people in the face. Like my current not Facebook, but Twitter avatar is Donald Trump wearing the glove, snapping Bernie Sanders away. But I'm about to change it to one of our viewers sent us. It's Amy Coney Barrett wearing the glove, snapping Planned Parenthood away. And I'm like,
that's pretty excellent. But back to what you were saying about Thomas and Alito. And I just kind of muttered, it's better than that. It's even better than that. And then you hit it on the head. They've had to be concerned for years and years that there's going to be leaks, that they're going to be attacked in their homes, this, that, and the other thing, right? Here's what it is. They're reading the tea leaves. The likely case is that the next president will be either Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis. And I believe that the next conservative president will hold 2 terms. I think it's very unlikely that Joe Biden, if he even runs in 24, has any chance at all of winning. And the Democrat bench has gotten thin, super thin.
Well, because so many of them are tied to the current administration.
Right. And the Democrat bench has gotten so thin, brother, I would have worn that like a t-shirt all last week. Because that sumbitch can breathe. And Thomas and Alito are looking at that and saying, we're coming up on the end. If we do the work now, our seats will probably be secure by a similar conservative constitutionalist with the next administration or two. And we can spare those justices from the injustice of the constant haranguing, harassing, death threats, and assaults. And, God, the Justice Thomas has been especially reviled and targeted over the Roe decision and the several others. The lefties are going after him in particular because he's black.
Pubic hair on the Coke can.
Right. They keep, they're calling him Uncle Tom and all this coon and all this crap.
He's married to a white woman, but he sexually harasses black women.
Yeah.
Sure thing, pal.
And the whole thing about, you would have wanted, what was it, Anita Hill? Was that her name? To have an abortion if you'd have gotten her pregnant. And At worst, if anything was ever proved, the worst that was proved is he may have made a bad joke. And even that is a tenuous reach. So, speaking of things you're free to say because this is America, you stupid ingrades.
Hey, real quick, scroll it back over. We've been slack about a thing, so I'm going to do something real quick.
I'll let me get the headline set back up, and then there you go.
Good morning to some folks like Pitt Danny. I'm going to assume that's Danny Pitt. Steve Crackshot, James Royster, Megan M. Hickman. I'm going to assume that's Melissa. Dan Burks, Sergeant Major.
Your Majesty.
Yeah, that's correct. Lieutenant Adam Baum. Scrimshaw Rose, still a fantastic name. Let's see, Sean Stryker and Michael
Military
Madsen.
Mike is with us.
Hello. And then Jeff Goldblum, Silent Fart Finds a Way. Still a fantastic name. And then other Steve. I'm not saying which Steve.
It was a silent fart.
And then there's your mom.
Good morning, Mom. Good morning.
So, not tired of winning yet?
Well, I mean, I wanted to talk about artificial intelligence and lawyers this morning, and then the Supreme Court was just like, no, Lowry.
Have another slice of cake.
Have some goodness. But I'm so fat already, Justice.
I had so much cake. Yes, but there's more.
It's too much sugar.
Yes, but there's more.
I'm going down under the weight of constitutional triglycerides. High school football coach scores big win at Supreme Court over post-game prayer. This one right here. We hear the phrase repeated over and over and over again. Separation of church and state. Separation of church and state. That does not mean that you can't have a religion.
Oh, it's sort of like well-regulated militia?
Right.
They love to use the language inaccurately.
So there are 3 clauses in the First Amendment that are prescient here. I mean, there are 5 major clauses in the First Amendment. So the First Amendment has the free speech clause, the establishment clause, the free exercise clause, the petition clause, and the gathering clause, right? Or the assembly clause. So the petition and assembly aren't really relevant here, but free exercise, free speech, and establishment. And the lefties like to use the establishment clause to beat on the idea of a separation of church and state. Now, there is some argument to be made there against hanging the 10 Commandments inside a courtroom.
Yeah, but that's one of
Not
those...
Not a great argument.
That's one of those navel-gazing arguments that's a fun exercise to have. It doesn't actually affect anything.
But where establishment versus free exercise kind of run into each other, what the Establishment Clause says is not that the church and state are necessarily separate. What it says, or what it means, it says that the government shall not establish a church. What that means is that there will not be an official church of the government, like the Church of England, that there will not be an official, recognized religious organization which is endorsed and enforced by the government. So the government cannot tell you, you will go to the church. They can't say, we've chosen this church and this is the church that you will attend, and you will attend this church and you will pray in the way that they prescribe.
Well, yeah, they came from a country that said, this is the Church of England. And so they said, nope, there will never be a Church of the Americas. Just, period. Like, it's pretty simple.
Right. But there is also the free exercise clause. The Congress shall make no law which prohibits the free expression of speech or the free exercise of religion. Right? It shall make no law which establishes a religion or prohibits the free exercise thereof. The government can't tell you how to pray, and it sure as hell can't tell you not to pray.
Yeah.
That's pretty cut and dry.
Except apparently...
Much like the Roe decision, what the court has decreed in this case is, this is none of our damn business. And by our, we mean the government.
Yeah, but you lefties keep celebrating Thurgood Marshall. Let me know how well that's working out for you.
Yeah, I mean, the man was an activist by his own admission. My wife says you can't make up a new church to divorce your wife. That's the Church of England.
No, I'm tracking. I got it.
It's hard to be married to a smart woman.
Is it really, though?
It's one of those fights that's worth fighting. She's 100% right. That's my point. I've got a smart wife.
I have comments to that about what could potentially be more difficult, and I'm just going to reserve them at this time. Because Okay, so here's what happened was, his high school coach, okay, he wants to pray, religious man, wants to do it on the football field, and so the district, in my opinion, in a way that was unconstitutional, was like, well, you got to be careful. You can't force this on kids. And he says, cool.
Also in their opinion.
Right. Funny that. And because he's a grown-ass adult, he says, cool, you know what? I guess there's room for compromise here. I'll wait until the game is over and people have begun to exit the field, and then I am going to spend 30 seconds praying on the 50-yard line. The one thing that I won't bend on is if somebody chooses to join me, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. I'm not going to run from other people to pray. Part of the point is I want to thank God for my life in this football game on the football field. And that, to me, seems like a compromise I would not have even been willing to make in the first place. But if we're going to talk about politics as the art of the practical,
well,
of the
possible,
I mean, well, that seems like a perfectly reasonable compromise. And then the school district fired him anyway.
Right, and it cannot be ignored that this teacher, that this coach, made these concessions. Right, The same school had a tradition of praying in the locker room before games, and he made the concession. He stopped that practice. And then finally he said, I'm drawing a line, I will not go further than this. And what he got fired for is because after the game he would pray, and other people would come and pray with him.
Voluntarily,
right?
It's like the religious NAP.
The argument that's made to fire him is that it risks that his praying like that and having other people join him, and again, voluntarily, that he risks entangling the government in the establishment. But here's the thing. It says, the Congress shall make no law, or the free exercise thereof. So in the exact moment that they told him that under any circumstances he could not pray, it was in fact the school, right? So this decision is not just that he was perfectly within his rights, but the school violated his constitutional rights. We're not going to see the full extent of justice served here, because what should happen is that the administration of that school, they should be penalized, either fined or incarcerated, for the violation of US 18, Section 242, violation of civil liberty under color of law, because they broke the law while representing the government in an official capacity, depriving a free citizen of his rights, of his civil liberties. They committed a crime. Now,
hey, JDF joined us. Good morning.
So we're not going to see that. That's the next step. Is people who commit crimes need to be prosecuted for those crimes. For example, if you incite people to violence, Maxine Waters, AOC, Adam Schiff, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. I can do this all day. Name me a Democrat, and I will tell you he should be in jail for attempting to incite a riot.
Tulsi Gabbard.
And I'll do it. I did say him.
Ah, well played, sir.
Tulsi Gabbard may be the only Democrat that's aware she has a vagina.
Aware that she is a she. So, and this could not have been more perfectly set up, because this coach did everything, said, okay, I compromise. I've run out of room to compromise, and you still fire me? Are you trying to go to the Supreme Court? Because I feel like now you're trying to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, look, we're in the Supreme Court. And this is one of those where they say 6-3, and it's like, no, look, even you liberal shitburgers, this is 9-0. The guy's not using his public office to promote a religion. But just because you are an employee of the state does not mean you are not allowed to practice your religion out of view of the public.
Right. The argument that's being made by the 3 dissenting justices here is essentially that in order to serve in government office, you must be an atheist.
Yeah, you have to set aside all your personal beliefs and convictions and serve the state. And that sounds kind of like a religion to me.
Doesn't it? Now, I want to relate this to a story. This is why this is significant. And let me go ahead and pull up the, where was that one? The Muslims and all that.
There we are.
Here we go. Here's this story. We are Muslims and Jews. We needed the Supreme Court to side with the coach's Christian prayer. Members of minority religions have more to fear from a government that seeks to drive faith from the public square than from one that allows people to profess their faith publicly. So the first sentence, we are Muslims and Jews, we needed the Supreme Court to side with coach's Christian prayer. Yeah, you should be on board for this if you are a person, right? There are no people who do not believe.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you all believe the same thing.
But everybody
But there are
believes
things
something.
you believe.
That's correct.
Even if you are that rare unicorn who only believes things that are absolutely undeniably true, and by the way, you're not. I promise you that. You need for this to be the case. But members of minority religions have far more to fear from a government that seeks to drive faith from the public square. Bullshit. We do not have a government that seeks to drive faith from the public square. We have a government that has been co-opted by corrupt foreign powers and domestic influences with the Democrat Party and influences from China and Russia and the like. That seeks to drive white Christians from the public square exclusively. So I started high school in Maine, and then we moved to Georgia. It's cold in Maine. I got in the habit of wearing a hat most of the time, usually a fuzzy hat. But I also had a ball cap that I would wear during the summertime, and I was just in the habit of wearing a hat all the time. We moved to Georgia, and there's a dress code at the high school. You can't wear a hat indoors. I found it obnoxious at first, but okay, when in Rome. And then I noticed, oh, but wait. The black guy gets to wear that sock thing on his head. And the Jewish guy gets to wear his yarmulke. And I asked one of the teachers, and then I asked the principal, and I was told, oh, well, that's a cultural thing. We can't mess with the cultural thing. I'm like, how is baseball not culture? Right. So what you're really saying is you're not afraid of terrorists burning down your building if you're mean to white people. That's what you really mean. In fact, we've seen that that's not an unreasonable position to take. Being cruel to conservatives doesn't get your cities set on fire. It doesn't get you autonomous zones. It doesn't get your crisis pregnancy centers fire-bombed.
Yeah,
right?
You better pray that that the white conservative Christian, and don't misunderstand, Chris is not a Christian, but for the purposes of this discussion, he's treated as such.
Yes, I might as well be.
And I got to tell you, you better pray the white conservative Christian never decides to set shit on fire. You know how I know January 6th was not an insurrection? It didn't succeed.
Well, and there was the whole nobody was armed thing.
Well, I'm just... No. Let's be honest. If a whole bunch of pissed off... Mm-hmm. Like, if they really wanted to take that bill, there wouldn't be a Capitol left.
Right. But we've seen already, just over this weekend, there were firebombs, there were riots. Dude, I saw video footage earlier of
fiery but mostly peaceful?
Fiery but mostly peaceful.
Right.
No shit, pro-abortion protester with a flamethrower firing it at police officers. That happened this weekend.
Why not? You got a dude firing a flamethrower at cops. Like, how much more of a justified shoot is there?
Right. Okay. They didn't shoot him, by the way. But I've worked in government situations. I was in the Army. Worked in a bunch of different government buildings. And hey, if you're a Muslim and you want to tote your prayer rug to work and take 5 smoke breaks a day to go and pray to the east, you get to do that. Right? The Army doesn't make the Muslims shave their beards off. It lets the Jews wear their yarmulkes. So freedom of expression is, in this country now, up until this ruling at least, just for everybody who isn't white. That if you can make a claim that you are in some way against white people or just different from, then you get to enjoy your 14th Amendment protection, guaranteeing you equal protection under the law. Basically, being white in this country is the only way that you can evade equal protection under the law.
Well, it's even in our pop culture. Like, you want a villain for your movie? Nazi.
Yeah.
Never a communist, never an African warlord. No.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. And it's not like that there are not evil people everywhere, in every culture, in every society. No. It's Nazis the only safe thing to beat up. Remember when we were kids in the 80s, it was safe to just make the generic Russians the bad guys?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Or the Arab.
Because they were commie shitburgers.
Yeah.
Right? And, okay, look. Here's the deal. Here's part of why Chris and I are just taking the victory lap, and follow me here, okay? It's going to sound like I'm going all over the place, but I promise I'm going to bring it home right here. All right? You pushed us too far. And what do I mean? Well, here's the deal. You made us bake the cake, for starters. When I say you made us bake the cake, I don't mean you just made us bake the cake. You made us wear the mask. You made us get the jab. You made us stay home. You made us keep our children home. You took away the NFL. You took away NASCAR. You took away Star Wars and Star Trek. You shoved it down our throat everywhere you could. And Doctor Who. You made us take down the 10 Commandments, and almost everywhere you could get a court ruling to do so.
You made
us take prayer out of schools. You took, and you took, and you took, and we compromised, and compromised, and compromised. And while you're busy taking away Star Wars, and while you're busy taking away the NFL, we said, screw you. And we took the Supreme Court back. And now you could put that in a juice box and suck it, my friends. Smoke your copium. You guys earned this. If you just stopped pushing, Roe v. Wade would probably still be on the books. You fucking ninnies. You did this. Not us. Well, us. Yeah, we absolutely did it. But you're the one that pushed it too far. You're not the victim here. You're the bully. And we turn around and punched you in the nose, and you're genuinely shocked at the response.
Yep.
And Steve says it's not compromised when only one side concedes. That's correct. That's it. There you go.
And guys, I want to say that I promise we'll be funny tomorrow, but we just saw a tweet right before we went live, and we already had the show set up and the material ready to rock and roll for today. When we learned that the Supreme Court just came out and said no votes for criminal aliens, so.
Well, tomorrow's Woke Wednesday, and apparently Top Gun broke $1 billion without showing in China.
Yeah,
I think that's a great Woke Wednesday topic.
I haven't seen it yet. My mom and dad went and saw it. They said it was awesome, and that the wife and I should make it a point to go see it.
Yeah, apparently.
That might have to happen.
That might have to happen.
All right, y'all be safe.
I might go see a Tom Cruise movie for the first time in 20 years.
Y'all be safe out there. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.